Good morning, everyone. On today's show, well, it's the final consecutive streaming day of a very long week. And we got a few interesting topics to talk about, including the end of Rooster Teeth officially. Also, me hitting purple ranks in Tekken 8 after the grind for a few weeks, and many more interesting topics, including people misrepresenting something that I said yesterday to two different directions for hilarious effect. Anyway, pretty fun. Great show today, and I hope to see ya for it after this. Alrighty, everybody. Welcome to the show. Today is Wednesday, the 6th of March, 2024. My final day of the week. Tomorrow I got my day off, finally. Man, I need it. Although it's not going to be much of a day off. I've got a ridiculous amount of stuff to do tomorrow. All backed up, so it is what it is. But, wow. Yes, I am excited for today. Because today is RPG Day. A double RPG Day, that is. Continuing on with both Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I'm excited for both streams. We got a fun podcast today talking about various different topics. Good stuff. Good stuff all around. It should be a solid day here to end the week. And so, where do we begin? How about we begin with yesterday's podcast when early on in the show, I basically opened the show talking a little bit about an updated thoughts on the documentary that I was in the works with Mike Klum to make over the course of this year, and that I decided against in January. And I really haven't said that much about it since then, because once it was done and canceled, there was really nothing else to say. But over the last few days, people have been coming into the chat here during my streams and talking about, oh, did you hear that Mike Klum is doing a documentary on this other guy, EDP, and what are your thoughts on that? And man, you really dodged a bullet. I really don't need to rehash what I said yesterday because it's all there in the show. You can watch it. I talked about it for like a good 20 minutes. In summary, I felt like I did dodge a bullet. Like, it seems like Mike, in the content that he's making right now, is catered in a direction towards this lolcow style content, or people who are, you know, really in a situation where, like, it's their last desperate attempt to get someone to care about them on the internet, and that's what his documentaries are. Correct? I mean, let's be honest. It was a Boogie like that. I mean, it was called The Sad Life, Dark Life of Boogie. And now you've got EDP, who everyone on the internet has hated on for, I guess, being caught out. A catfished, i.e., to expose that apparently the guy was involved with pedophilia. Again, I don't know because I don't follow this stuff. I have no idea. I only know what I hear or what people tell me. Okay? So, i.e., me being wrapped up in that kind of content is not beneficial for me, myself, or my brand, or my content, or my viewers, or anyone, right? Let's be honest. Even if my documentary would not have been like that, it still wouldn't have made sense, because then it's like you still get associated with it, correct? So, pretty much that's all I said yesterday, you know, about that. And apparently, I've been misrepresented in two different ways. So one group is saying, oh, did you hear how Phil is totally condemning, like, Mike Klum and EDP and all of this? Like, basically, he's, like, shitting all over them. I don't realize that happened. I don't remember that. I was here in this chair yesterday, and that didn't happen on the show. Yet people are saying that, right? And it's like, okay, sure. Sure I did, right? On the other side of it, people are saying I defended EDP. Really? So by me coming on my own show and saying, it doesn't make sense for me to do a documentary with Mike Klum because he's associating himself with people like EDP. That was defending EDP. Maybe in some weird parallel universe where right means left, up means down, it's actually the opposite. I'm telling you that guy is one of, the worst liked people on the internet. Most people have written him off and said that this is like concrete evidence of the heinous things that he's done or tried to do. And the only reason he's not in jail is because it was done on the internet. Like, for example, if the police had set up EDP in one of these kind of to catch a predator situations, he'd be in jail right now. But instead, it was like people on YouTube who did it. So they got some YouTube views out of it, but it wasn't like able to be evidence for court or whatever. And so he's still out, but definitely he's caught out doing this stuff, right? At least, again, this is what I'm to understand from what I've been told. I don't have any evidence sitting in front of me. I don't have any documentary that I've watched. This is what I've heard. This is like what people talk about on the internet, right? So anyway, with all that being said, I don't know how you can spin that into me saying I either am being completely unfair to EDP or Mike Klum, or I'm defending EDP. But it's hilarious because both situations are what people are saying I said. They're completely opposite, aren't they? Right? How could I have possibly said both? It doesn't even make sense at all, right? So, it doesn't make any sense. What they try to do is they try semantics. Like, I guess they said that I'd said either set up or framed or whatever. What I should have said was like To Catch a Predator. That's what I should have said. To Catch a Predator is a setup. They're setting you up to think that it's a situation that it's not. You show up and you get caught out for these heinous actions you were intending to perform. Correct? So maybe if I worded it better, doesn't matter. It's you know what I said. If you were here you actually watched the show in context, you know exactly what I'm saying. But that's the problem with the people on the internet who don't like me. They literally take the stuff out of context, then say I meant this when I never meant to say that. Obviously, they're full of shit. So anyway, I just find it's funny that these idiots literally spin it two different ways that couldn't possibly both be true because they contradict each other. But you know my stance now, right, everybody? You understand it now? Okay, like, I'm not going to be doing a documentary regardless because I'm too busy to do it. My life is too hectic, and right now I wouldn't be able to do it properly. That's number one. Number two, I feel like a documentary is something you do when it's your last chance or your last desperate attempt. I'm not in that situation whatsoever. I have a successful business and a positive viewer base. I'm not in a situation where I have to make drama to get views and or be known on the internet. That's a good thing, okay? And yes, up front, I'm saying it publicly to the world, I'm not going to be involved in a line of documentaries that are involving people that literally have nothing to do with me or my life situation, because then you get an association with it, okay? Boogie was one thing, but now EDP, now it's like, yikes. So unless there's more stuff coming from Mike Klum that's nothing to do with that lolcow shit, then I don't want to do a documentary like that. You understand? Maybe there will be for different stuff in the future. I don't know. But as of where I'm seeing that going, I have zero interest in doing anything like that, all right? In fact, like I said, I dodged a bullet because I didn't know what was going to happen with other work that Mike Klum was doing and stuff like that. Now, let's say we were doing the documentary and then it comes out he's doing an EDP documentary. Now, everyone will be like, oh, so now DSP's associated with EDP, you see? So I do feel like I dodged a bullet, just being honest, okay? So there you go. That's my final stance on it. And I have nothing else to say about it because there is nothing else to say about it. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not involved. Okay? Fair enough? So don't listen to the nonsense. I literally didn't say either thing that morons on the internet are saying I said. Just watch the show from yesterday and you'll see in context the whole discussion. Fair enough. Okay. Outside of that yesterday, it was a great streaming day. I made major progress in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, where we went through the whole next story area, including the big boss fight against I think it was used to be called, like, the Midgar something serpent. Now it's called the Midgar Zarmarer or whatever. It's weird because in the original Final Fantasy VII, you don't fight it at first. If you do, it kicks your ass. You're supposed to come back later with the enemy skill materia, and then you can learn a really powerful enemy skill from it, and then you can beat it later when you're more powerful. But it's weird. They've combined, like, two time points in Final Fantasy VII into one, and it makes it really confusing. Like, I don't want to spoil for those who haven't played it, so I'm not going to tell you what happens, but basically it looks like they combine two completely different things into one. So check out my gameplay from yesterday to see what I'm talking about. Then we got into a whole new area just outside of the town of Junin. Junin is like the dockside city with the port and everything, where there's tons of content in the original Final Fantasy VII. Well, this is another big area that you can explore, open world. So we've begun with that, and it was really fun. So great stream yesterday. I hope you'll check out the content if you haven't yet. It's a really good progress in the game. Last night was really cool, and here's why. After me grinding, essentially, with Yoshimitsu in Tekken 8 for, what, some 3 weeks, I hit purple ranks with him. Now, for those who don't know, just like with Street Fighter 6, there's separate ranks in ranked matches for Tekken. You start down, I want to say you start at, like, gray, and then it goes to, like, light blue, green, yellow, orange, red, and then purple, okay? And there's still more above that. There's blue, like dark blue, and then gold, which is like the top level. And then if you're like one of the best in the world, you get one of those super premier exclusive titles that you can't get unless you're like number 1 or something like that, right? So, in perspective here, what I hit last night with Yoshimitsu would be the equivalent of, say, getting like low to mid-level diamond in Street Fighter 6, okay? Not master rank yet. Master rank, I would argue, would probably be around like mid-level blue to gold, okay? But I'm like 1 tier below that. And that's pretty good. Because, again, as I keep explaining to you guys, which a lot of people don't seem to understand, I don't really have a competitive background nor a lot of competitive knowledge when it comes to Tekken. I've played the series over the years. I know basics like Paul Phoenix. You saw on day 1, I jumped in with Paul and I got a big win streak, right? But outside of that, I don't have that level of experience. And so for me to have jumped into a different fighting game franchise other than Street Fighter, and within a month of the game coming out, essentially getting to pretty good rankings with a character is pretty big of an accomplishment for me. And a lot of people have even said that this game is harder than Street Fighter. I agree with that, actually. And a lot of people are also saying that even YouTubers who play Tekken are having an issue getting out of red into purple. A lot of them kind of hang around high red, low purple, and they juggle back and forth, but they have a hard time hitting it. So it's an accomplishment for me. All right? Again, someone who I felt like at one point, any attempt to get good at fighting games was in my past. I hear the landscapers outside. I'm going to have to close the window in a second. But yeah, like, I really felt that way. First of all, I'm in my 40s. You know what I mean? Like, I played competitive Street Fighter at a high level in my early to mid 20s. And then I basically tapped out. You know what I mean? Like, I said, forget this. Did I play Street Fighter after that? Yeah, for YouTube, dicking around. Playing, you know, Madness series, picking each random character and essentially just messing around, doing sets, swearing at the TV, swearing at the people on the other end of the internet for fun. Okay, the point I'm making here is, for the last 15 years, I haven't actually tried to be good at Street Fighter, okay? One of the things that everyone has always made fun of me for is a comment that I made like over a decade ago, and I think it was something to the effect of, I can be good at games competitively if I try. Like, any game I could pick up and play at a competitive level if I actually dedicated myself to it. Now, a lot of people made fun of me for that and said, ha, yeah, like Phil's going to play League of Legends competitively. Phil's going to play Call of Duty competitively or whatever. But it's funny because over the years, if you watch my gameplay, right, take a look at Call of Duty. There's actually been years where I play it quite a bit, and I'm actually good at it. When I play it, I'm dominating. I'm always at the top of the leaderboards. I'm the one with the crazy kill streaks and everything, right? And people are like, where does this come from? Because all I've ever heard is that Phil sucks at video games, so how is he good at Call of Duty like this? You tell me. Right? And in Street Fighter, I mean, literally any Street Fighter that I've played, except for 5, because I hated 5. Legit, I just straight up hated Street Fighter 5 and didn't want to play it. I thought it played like trash. But any of these games, you know, that I've tried playing and I mess around with, I usually get decent at. But then I just don't care, right? Like, admittedly, take a look at the fighting games I've covered in the last, like, 10 plus years. The Mortal Kombat trilogy, so that would be 9, 10, and 11. Injustice 1 and 2. I'm trying to think of, like, what Capcom games I even would have played, because not Street Fighter 5, because I tried Street Fighter 5 and I hated it. You know, Tekken 7, which is really a joke compared to how I'm covering Tekken 8. That's true. Smash Brothers, I did when the new Smash Brothers came out. I tried that. Multiverses is another case, right? Basically, what I do is I cover them in a way where I play a bunch of characters. I go through the story modes. I'll maybe switch around, try some good stuff. With each character, and then I just drop them within like a few weeks. I'm like, all right, whatever, it's run its course. I never really try to learn the competitive nature of the games at all. I don't bother with it. I feel like it's not worth the time. Now, here's the thing. I feel like now, since Street Fighter 6, since I actually put in the time and effort for months and months to get back into competitive fighting games, I feel like I'm back in a position where I could get good at fighting games again if I so chose. But people ask me, well, what are you doing it for? Are you actually going to go to a tournament? No. No, I'm not. Well, what? Yeah, there's a difference between playing a fighting game casually, playing a fighting game at a good level, and playing a fighting game professionally. Those are 3 completely different experiences. You know, casually, you just don't give a shit. You're just fucking around. If you can land a good combo or get a few wins in a win streak, haha, but it doesn't matter. Trying to get good at a fighting game, it's a different level. You feel a level of accomplishment when you overcome a big adversary, or you go on a good win streak, or you hit a good ranked level like I just did last night. But absolutely not am I going to go at a pro level or anything like that. I don't care about it enough. If I did, do you have any idea the amount of investment it takes? Take a look at the pro players out there who are doing the best. They're signed to teams. A lot of them have sponsors paying their way to travel to do this. They are constantly playing the game. Some of them have a minimum of 5 hours a day. They're going to every tournament, every online competition. That's how you play these games at a high level, right? Not by just dicking around casually online a couple hours a week. You're not going to do that, right? I'm just not into that. My life is very different. I enjoy being a variety style content creator here on YouTube. I want nothing to do with the professional grind. I know what it's like. I've been there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've actually been there in that lifestyle. Back in the 2000s, I was traveling around for competitive Street Fighter and everything. And dude, I do not envy that lifestyle. It is very draining. It is very stressful. It is time consuming. And it is definitely, if you ever heard the term grind, that's like your life is a grind. Your whole life is just a grind to hopefully finally make it. Get enough wins that you're notable, that people talk about you, that people want to see you play. You know what I'm saying? So, no, I have no intention of being competitive in that regard. But to actually be able to play fighting games at the level I'm playing them is pretty cool. Like, I feel good about this. Playing Tekken and... Alright, we're starting with Yoshimitsu. And when I start a fight, I feel comfortable at the beginning of the fight. I know kind of three different strategies I can start on fight and see what happens with them, right? And then situation, I'm starting to learn situational stuff in the game. I'm starting to learn actual character matchups and the like. You know what I mean? Like, I'm learning this stuff, and as I'm learning it, I'm just getting better and better, and I'm having a good time with it. I am, okay? And I'm happy that I've done as good as I am. Now, it's hilarious because as soon as I hit purple rank last night, in came the negative comments from idiots. You only do this mashing bullshit, and you do this, and that's how you win. It's like, ha ha ha. You want to know the truth? That makes me feel good. Because if these idiots are so upset that I hit that rank, that means that it actually is notable that I hit the rank, correct? Because if it didn't really matter, then no one would care or say a word. But the fact that the moment I hit purple, people ran in to leave comments of how nasty, you know, how stupid I am, how I suck, that's fucking hilarious. Because it means that they're pissy about it. They cannot take the fact that last year I told you all I'm going to commit myself to Street Fighter and I'm going to get good at it, and then I got multiple characters into Master Rank. They're so pissy about that happened. And by the way, a positive win-loss record on every one of those characters. I wasn't one of the people who grinded for 7 months to get one character to master and had like a 20% win-loss ratio. Every one of those characters had a positive win-loss ratio in master, right? And the same thing now with Tekken. I have won way more than I have lost, because actually it was Even the Great has been keeping stats. And if you take a look at my statistics with Yoshimitsu particularly, I think I only had, out of all the nights I've played, 2 nights were losing nights, meaning I lost more than I won. But every other night I have won way more than I've lost. Like last night, and we're talking high level red and then these purple matches that I was having, I won 66% of the time. That's a great ratio. If you're winning 2/3 of the time in anything in life, you're winning. That's great. So I'm actually pleased with how things are going. It's not, oh, Phil is lucky and stumbled into these ranks. I'm actually getting good at the games and getting positive win-loss ratios and doing well, and that's excellent. Now, the one thing that does disappoint me, all right? I'm going to be honest, this disappoints me. It doesn't seem like the viewership is along for the ride. What do I mean by that? I am not getting the amount of any attention or engagement like I did with Street Fighter 6 with Tekken. I'm not saying that I'm not grateful. Last night, the support was outstanding. The stream was well supported. But when I was playing Street Fighter 6, dude, people were there all the time. The viewership was high. The views on YouTube were high for the videos. That's why I was able to play Street Fighter 6 for 7+ months as a featured stream, right? Right now with Tekken 8, I'm only playing it twice a week as a late night stream, so like 2.5 hours each night. And that's about the most I can do. It doesn't even really work as a daytime stream. You know, people just don't seem as engaged for that reason. So yeah, like for me, it is disappointing. I wonder why. You know, I wonder why people like Street Fighter 6 so much better. Do you want, because people now are asking me questions like, which game do you think is better? Yeah, that's a really tough question. I think both of them have outstanding graphics. Both of them have great controls. Both of them have really great, you know, systems in place. If Street Fighter 5, if you said Street Fighter 5 versus Tekken, I would have said Tekken. But now I think both games are complex enough with their engines and stuff going on, and have enough going on in them that they're just really good. It's hard for me to actually pick. Really, it's hard for me to actually pick. I think they're both really good. So yeah, it's a hard choice for me because I like both a lot. But the viewers definitely have chose Street Fighter 6. Like when it comes to me playing fighting games, Street Fighter 6 is the game that more people came out for, more people were excited for, and even now, I'm getting good at Tekken. I hit purple rank. People are like, so when are you going back to Street Fighter 6? Are you going to play with Ed? No. I've been saying it for 2-3 weeks. No. I'm not doing that. I have no desire to drop Tekken and I'll go back to Street Fighter 6 just because a DLC character came out. No. Maybe down the line, but Tekken 8 is very exciting to me right now, and I want to keep going. I mean, what's my next goal? I want to hit blue. I want to get to blue with Yoshimitsu because that's kind of where people consider master rank, you know? So I definitely want to keep going. And I hope that people, again, will be along for the ride. I was very happy and pleased last night when people actually were very supportive of me hitting purple. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, that's really nice of people to actually support like that. We hadn't seen that level of support for Tekken in a long time, you know? But anyway, thank you for being along for this journey. Again, in my 40s. About to hit 42 years of age in a month, actually. Wow, 1 month from today is actually my 42nd birthday. I didn't even realize that. And I'm actually doing better at fighting games now than I ever have before, with the exception being the mid-2000s when I was doing so well at Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I would argue that was the highest level of competition I've ever had when I was winning tournaments and stuff in Super Turbo. But outside of that, now is the best I've ever been. And I'm old. I have bad reaction time, right? And I'm still doing well. That's pretty crazy. So anyway, I certainly hope that you guys are enjoying this stuff, and I'm going to keep with it, stick with it, and try to get my Yoshimitsu to blue. I don't know if it'll happen. What very well may happen is I'm going to hit a wall where, because I only play the game a couple times a week, I just don't have enough knowledge to win anymore. I'll win a few, then lose a few, then win a few and lose a few, and never be able to proceed because people are going to have these advanced tactics and strategies that I'm not going to understand. You know, right now I'm having a lot of problems with character knowledge. Every time I fight a Kuma, I lose because the Kuma does something I didn't even know was in their moveset because I've only fought like 3 Kumas, right? So that's just going to keep happening, is that people are going to hit me with these moves I don't even know what they are, and then the whole round's over, like son of a bitch, right? So that knowledge gap, is killing me right now. And only playing, you know, twice a week is just, it's going to be rough. But I'm going to do my best. I'm playing it again on Friday Night Fights, and we'll see if I can keep it moving, right? Okay, anyway, so that was yesterday. Today, it's going to be Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm excited because we are doing more questing in actual Baldur's Gate of Act 3. We're in the middle of this murder mystery plotline, which I'd like to continue to investigate and see how it goes. Hopefully, we can maybe get to the bottom of things with this plotline and advance it. Eventually, I do have to do this plotline shutting down all of the robots in the city. And then I think last thing is that Iron Throne plotline, right? So we got a lot to do. Don't know how far we'll get today, but it's always a good time. For those who engage and support Baldur's Gate 3, thank you. Looking forward to today's stream. On tonight's late stream at 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, I'm very excited for this one. It's going to be a late night stream of Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and we've hit Chapter 8, and the whole game is flipped on its head and changed. What's happening is, it is now back in Yokohama, which I didn't expect would happen. The parties have split. You have one group who's still in Hawaii, and one group who went back to Japan. And so having two different parties with different jobs and different things going on is actually super cool. I'm actually really enjoying this now, this premise that we're going to have two different sides of the story. And we just started the Yokohama plotline, so I'm excited tonight to get further into it. We only have 3 party members. Maybe we'll get a 4th member tonight to see where the story goes and to level up these new jobs. I'm very excited for this, so hopefully you'll join me tonight for that on the late stream. I'm off from streaming tomorrow. It's going to be a super busy day for me. Like, there was stuff I was supposed to do last week, but I didn't do because my back was killing me. So now I got to do it this week, plus all my normal stuff. So I'm going to be out, no exaggeration, probably 4 or 5 hours tomorrow running errands and doing all this shit. And I'm just like, I just want to have a day where I can relax, but I can't. I don't have relaxing tomorrow. It sucks. But that's life, I guess, I come back on Friday with more Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, paired with Friday Night Fights, Yoshimitsu now at the purple ranks of Tekken 8, and hopefully do well. Maybe keep that advancement. Saturday will be more Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Sunday is React Day, where it's going to be DSP versus the Internet on DSP Reacts, and then Retro React, Heavy Rain on DSP Throwback. Monday, we're going to do just like we did this Monday. I'll do a daytime stream, and I think that's going to be Final Fantasy, but then there will be no late stream that night because I need to do private stuff. It's probably going to be a combination of private patron videos and, tax work and other shit. Probably everything smashed together. So, no stream that Monday night, but then I will be here full time for that Tuesday and Wednesday again. Okay? Then the cool thing is that next week, the Star Wars Battlefront collection's coming out. So I'm probably going to check that out and throw it into the schedule. Even if it means that I have to cut back a little bit on other stuff like Tekken, I guess. I want to play it. The game is super fun. In the mid-2000s, it was one of the best multiplayer games ever made. And I hope that it retains that level of just silly fun, especially because now it's up to 64-player multiplayer. So I'm excited for that. So that's what's going on right now. Keep in mind, the next big thing is in exactly 1 month. On my birthday, April 6th, it will be DSP's birthday bash celebration here on DSP Gaming. What are we going to be doing? Well, one thing we'll definitely be doing is doing the game schedule update, going through the calendar for the rest of the year now that all these games release dates will now be out, and I want to talk about them. I want to, actually flesh them out and say, hey, here's what we're interested in so people have a better idea of what I'm going to be doing, okay? But in addition to that, we're also going to have a big celebration for my birthday. My wife's probably going to make me a cake. We'll have that. Probably order some food, so have a meal together. Now, what else we do is up to you. Maybe you'd like to see me do more retro react stuff that day. We can react to more, I don't know. We'll probably be done with Heavy Rain by then, I'm thinking. But maybe we could do a different game. That would be fine. Or maybe you would like to have me play some games. Maybe some multiplayer, right? Maybe some Battlefront. Maybe some Tekken. I don't know. We can figure it out. Let's talk about it over the next month. And let's figure out exactly what you want to see on that day. Okay? Let's talk it out. Let's figure it out and go from there. Yes, people are saying, will Kat be on the stream? I don't know. That's up to her. But if you guys wanted to have her on stream, maybe just have her sit down, do some Q&A for a little bit, just talk, so you can see how she's been doing. Maybe we'll do that. That's something interesting, So we'll talk about it. We'll figure it out and go from there. Okay. That's really the stuff that I had to talk about today in regards to all of that. However, the one big thing to talk about today, folks, the news all over the internet. All right? So I guess, I guess we should say this kind of is DSP news, even though it's really not like a formal news segment. It is official. Rooster Teeth, a once ginormous pop culture and gaming dynamo of a company, is officially closed. It was announced this morning, Warner Discovery, who actually owns Rooster Teeth, is ending Rooster Teeth. Done. So all ongoing projects under its umbrella are now canceled. The only exception, I guess they had already started creating like a spin-off segment for podcasts. So they're saying that like podcasts that were under its umbrella are likely to continue. But outside of that, all other content that Rooster Teeth makes is now done. Okay? Now, you may not even know what Rooster Teeth is. You know, back in the day, they came to prominence around the time of Halo, like Halo 2 and Halo 3, for Red vs. Blue, an online series, I'll argue, it was ahead of its time, right? To take the game of Halo and to be able to create situations where you could control the characters and make them act out as if they're on a sitcom, right? How did you do that? I mean, no one was doing anything like that back then. It totally was revolutionary. I mean, this was before YouTube. So they were uploading episodes of this show to their own servers and bringing people to them through their own website so people could watch this web series, right? And basically, this show got so popular that they started being able to make money and monetize and things like that around the era of YouTube. And then they branched out and did all kinds of content on the internet. You know, comedy-style skits, news-style shows, podcasting. I would argue probably the other big thing from them was that cartoonish anime series, RWBY. Now, I've never seen it, so I don't know anything about it, but I heard it was very, very popular at the height of its popularity, and people were, like, crazy for it, and people were, you know, one of those things you go to a convention, oh, they're selling merch of it, they're talking about it, people are cosplaying as it and shit like that, right? So basically, I guess that was, like, super popular at one time. But the crazy thing about the end of Rooster Teeth is that at one point, they were so huge, they were like the big gaming media company, and they were buying up other gaming media to become part of their company. Like one of the things, infamously, one of the things that happened with ScrewAttack.com back in the day is that ScrewAttack allowed themselves to be bought by Rooster Teeth, and then Rooster Teeth decided we're just going to close all of it except for Death Battles. Death Battles was a show where they would pit, for example, Superman versus Goku, right? Who would win, right? And this was one of the more popular things ScrewAttack did. So ScrewAttack sold out and then literally had their entire company closed because Rooster Teeth didn't think there was any value to it. Funny. Anyway. That's what I mean. Like, this was a company that was so popular and so profitable and so big, they would go around the internet and buy up podcasts, buy up entire entities of gaming-related stuff, and absorb them into their collective. So they were huge. And then I guess what they did is they just kind of, like, squandered it all, you know? And the question is, like, what really happened? It's a good question. Because I don't know. I haven't analyzed what happened with Rooster Teeth. I see different people's opinions. For example, I see some people are saying at one point the management, like the people actually running the company from behind the scenes, were exposed for really heinous practices and awful things that they did to employees and others. And therefore, because of that, they lost a lot of their prominence, a lot of their respect. I think at one point, a lot of people left the company because they felt like the company wasn't going in the direction that they wanted to be associated with. So when you lose a lot of your talent, who people like, and that talent moves on to do their own stuff, you're going to lose a lot of your viewer base. They're going to move over there, and you're left behind with the leftovers, right? So I think that's what happened is over time, basically, people were upset with the fact that Rooster Teeth was just kind of a skeleton or a shell of its former self, where the people who really were talented or the people who were well-liked were leaving the company to go do other endeavors, and the people left behind were like the second and third stringers, and people weren't liking that as much. Yeah, so, over time, things change. This is a company that I think they were around before YouTube. So you're probably talking like over 20 years that they were prominent and making tons of money. And you're like, well, where did it all go? How the hell did they screw that up? I don't know. That would be a fascinating topic to probably like delve into. I'm absolutely sure there's probably people out there who have done documentaries on it, but now there's probably more coming because it was officially announced today that it is done. Like today, it is over. They are done. They're liquidated, done, and only some of the podcasts will continue on, but all of their content coming out of Rooster Teeth has ended. And it's funny because some people are like, oh, what about Death Battle? Yeah, that's Rooster Teeth. So the one remnant of what used to be like Screw Attack is now gone. It will not exist anymore. It's done. Went out of business, So, yeah, it's weird. It is weird, for sure, to have something like that that's kind of been, since the era of the internet being dominant, internet culture, gaming culture on the internet being dominant, Rooster Teeth has always been a part of that, right? And now to say that one of the originators of gaming memes, gaming content is gone is weird, But I think a lot of people have said they've seen the writing on the wall for a long time when they saw the company grow too big for its own good, lose its actual direction, lose the spirit of what originally it was supposed to be, literally start buying up everyone else and smashing them into their collective brand, and then them losing their identities, right? Like it just got worse and worse and worse, to the point where every new scandal, every new thing that was exposed, every new misstep was just, oh God, it's definitely on the way out, right? So I'm wondering, usually when something like this happens, what'll happen, like Warner Discovery owns them now, which is weird. You're like, well, Rooster Teeth was buying up everyone else, but now Rooster Teeth got bought. Yeah, Rooster Teeth years ago got bought by Warner Brothers, Warner Discovery or whatever. And likely what will happen is they will try to find things that are still of value and try to save them and sell them off, right? Like, for example, you remember Square Enix a few years ago decided to sell off many of their popular game lines, and now those are being published by other companies and stuff like that. Probably that's what will happen. Like, I'd be surprised if, like, someone doesn't pick up that RWBY and the rights to it, or someone doesn't pick up a show like Death Battle. I mean, it doesn't make sense. If these things still have some popularity to them, if people are still interested in spending money on them, why just end them? Or for example, I guess with that RWBY, it's first of all, it has how many seasons? Like a ton, right? You're not just going to stop selling it. Of course not, right? Likely they're going to find a way to keep distributing it, whether digitally or physically or whatever, so that people can keep buying it. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm assuming that they will probably have someone else make the show. That's what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? It's pronounced Ruby. I don't even know that. I didn't even know it was pronounced Ruby. I've never seen the show. I don't even know. It's pronounced Ruby. Oh, okay. So something like that, I feel like will survive. But what's sad, always what's the saddest in a situation like this, is all the people who over the years have been a part of Rooster Teeth and have put their blood, sweat, and tears into that company and tried to make it as good as it could be. And the fans who've been a huge, part of that experience for some 20 years, who now are just left in the lurch. How do you go from being a company that was a little rinky-dink, oh, we're making little memeable videos about Halo, right, to being one of the most profitable, prominent, internet-related gaming companies for culture, podcasting, news, and memes and jokes, and you're so popular and so much money, you're buying up everyone else. And then you mismanage that ship and literally drive it so far into the frickin' Bermuda Triangle, right, that your company gets bought out and now liquidated and done. I mean, wow, what a story, and what a shitty one, honestly. So that would be fascinating. Maybe one day we should explore that, because again, I don't know. I've never really delved into it. I'll be honest, I was never a fan. I am aware of Red versus Blue because when Kat actually moved in with me, she used to be a fan of it, and so we watched some of it together, and I thought it was funny. I thought that the show, overall, there was some stuff that was stupid, but I actually thought that a lot of it was quite well done, right? But I mean, that's their past. That's not their present. that's their past, what they were known for, how they got prominent. But yeah, like, I don't know that much about them, so. But man, just one of those bastions of gaming that's gone again, right? And the meme persists, I guess. Dark Side Phil is still here in 2024 making content, and yet he's outlived another one. Goodbye to Rooster Teeth. It's like, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Okay. There you go. Andrew Dale actually says they lost a ton of their viewership and sponsors after it came out about their treatment of employees. See, that's, I guess I would like to know more about that. I don't know anything about that. I don't know how they mistreated employees or anything. I've never followed the history, so I don't know what happened there. Again, that's like, for me, the red versus blue stuff is like kind of like college level. It's kind of like college humor. Remember college humor? Like that, I think of it at the same level. Like, it was stuff that was memeable internet culture, but it wasn't for me. It was like for a different group. I was never into Halo like that back then. So like, I didn't care and I didn't know about it, nor did it really appeal to me. So it was like a different, you know, offshoot of the same culture. Like, totally I was into games, but I was into Street Fighter and I was into, like, you know, other stuff, while the whole Halo stuff was its own entity over here. So it kind of, I never really was in line with that. You know what I'm saying? So I never followed it or really knew much about it. So, Pizza Box Gaming says college humor was great in its heyday. The stream's now making me feel so nostalgic. Yeah. Anyway. All right. So, goodbye, Rooster Teeth. Sucks. But maybe we'll investigate it one day. If you guys are ever interested in seeing me do something like a react, if like maybe you guys know about a documentary, but I'm sure there's probably a few out there covering Rooster Teeth. If you're ever interested in seeing me maybe react to something like that, I'd be down for that. We haven't done a long-form documentary in a million years, right? I haven't watched a long-form, you know, thing and reacted to it in a long-ass time. So if you're ever interested in something like that, let me know. Maybe we'll look into doing it as a one-off day. Just a variety event, okay? Hell, DSP Reacts could use it. DSP Reacts is just a react show once a week. That's it. It could use something else extra on there, right? Now, sadly, the Xbox partner preview happened this morning when I was getting ready for stream. I couldn't watch it. I was showering. I was shaving. I was eating breakfast. I was doing my daily, you know, stuff. So it happened at 10 a.m. So if you guys know anything about Xbox partner preview, bring it up now. Or what I'll have to do is try to research it during my day off, and we can talk about it on Friday. But, you know, it happened when there's no way I could possibly have watched it, you know. You forgot all about it. Yeah, people, I guess we'll have to look it up. I think people were saying they announced there's a sequel to The Sunken City, which blows my mind. Did anyone actually play The Sunken City? I tried. The game was an unfinished, buggy mess. It sucked shit. It was such a bad game. I dropped it. And you know me, I rarely drop games. And I dropped The Sunken City because it was garbage. So you're telling me there's a sequel. It's like, Jesus Christ, how many people bought that fucking stinker that they made a sequel? That actually confuses the living shit out of me. The thing is, I do feel like a game like that could do well if it actually had a budget, if it actually had production value. I don't know why it's mistreated so badly, right? Yeah, I agree. It had a good story and a detective narrative. I agree, but the game was just a mess. Remember how glitchy and buggy it was? How characters would clip around, disappear, the frame rate was bad. It just was a horrible, horrible mess. It definitely didn't feel like they had finished the game at all. So that's just weird to me that there's a sequel. I mean, hopefully they fucking learned their lesson from the last one, right? Because that one was so bad. Okay, well, that's about what I've got to talk about for now. I guess what we could do, I have one shout out to do so far. We can see if you guys have any topics you want to talk about. We could do suggestion box if you're interested. We don't have to do that today. You know, I'm kind of more open day today. Man, I really would like to open my window. Let me see if the landscapers are gone. Hold on. probably be back, though. They'll probably be back, so I'm going to have to keep opening and closing my window. Okay? Someone is saying, is Dragon's Dogma officially off the docket? Well, it's like I said, there's no way I can play another RPG right now. Baldur's Gate 3, heading into the end game. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth just starting. And Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth now into the second half. There's no way I can play a fourth RPG. That would be stupid. No one's going to watch a fourth RPG, okay? What I might do is hold off and play it later. I'm interested in it. I really liked Dragon's Dogma 1, but I remember back in the day playing it, and after initially, playing it, a lot of people even fell off from watching it then, and that was like the years of my prominence on YouTube. I really want to play it, but man, I just know it's not, doesn't make any sense. No one's gonna care right now. You know what I mean? Like if we take a break from RPGs and we come back later, then maybe. But I just don't see it working right now, being honest. So, okay. Let's do a few quick shout outs here. Anso Kamaru, with our first contribution of the day, $1.50 tip, says Ruby had such a tragic fate. First, the original creator and animator tragically died. They had an allergic reaction at the end of Season 2, and the show continued on in a completely different direction that alienated many of the fans. Then one of its most popular voice actors, Vic Mignogna, gets hit with massive scandals, and they had to replace him, which alienated even more fans, and now this. The show is still super popular, though. Even has an official game in the Blaze Blue series, multiple independent games, a spin-off series, and is very popular in Japan, so I'm surprised if it doesn't get sold. You know it will. Yeah, something like that. You know it's going to. It's kind of like with Screw Attack what happened. Screw Attack got sold, and really the one thing that remained was Death Battle. Everything else was like, just cancel it all, there's no value. But Death Battle was the one thing that they thought was huge and should continue, and it did. So I definitely feel like it will, in some capacity. I guess it remains to be seen, because this was just announced this morning, so no one really knows the full extent of how this is going to happen, okay? Okay. Someone tips $1. Did you see Review Tech USA last night? On his stream, he went full mask off on his editor. No. I don't watch Review Tech. I don't care about Review Tech drama. I'm not involved in it. You don't need to ever bring it up with me ever. Trust me, I have zero interest. I couldn't be possibly less interested. But thanks for the $1 tip. Hoy. Okay. Hold on here. Give me a second. Whoa. My screen's not loading right. Hold on. That definitely is not supposed to look like that. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. It's a giant paragraph. So I'm just going to read this ginormous paragraph, okay? So, 1 Minute Man with a $25 tip. He says, the title of one of my videos is misleading because you did not find the murderer. Well, you do realize that that is a spoiler, I guess, because I didn't know that. According to the game, you did find the murderer. So it sounds like you just spoiled. Also, yesterday you said you didn't remember Laura, the mother of the missing girl Vanra. Really? No, I don't remember her name was Laura. I remember the missing girl. I don't remember the mother's name. You talked to Captain Drizzly at length about her and went to the barracks to find her. Yeah, I just don't remember her name. Maybe you should focus on one quest at a time. No, I just don't remember her name. Don't juggle too many balls. No, I just don't remember her name. I'm about to be 42 years old, the name of a very minor character in a very side questy style quest in an RPG that I'm playing. One of 3 RPGs, by the way, that I'm playing is not something that's just going to stick in my head. You know what I mean? Like if she became a major character or something, like I know that's the mother of the missing kid. Like that's how I know her in my head. I just don't remember her specific name. It has nothing to do with everything you're saying here. Perhaps wrap up the murder quest. There's more people to warn. Well, yeah, we have to keep going. I think that's what I'm going to work on today. Eventually, maybe you could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And try talking to NPCs outlined in yellow. NPCs outlined in yellow. I'm trying to think about this. Because there's 3. There's green. There's yellow. There's white. And there's red. Is that correct? The 4 major colors of characters when you highlight them in the game. Red means you just aggro to it immediately, right? Like you're going to fight it no matter what. And I guess the other colors mean that you do different things. So what you're saying is you should talk to NPCs outlined in yellow. If you go straight into combat, you can miss entertaining dialogue, reducing the value of the game. So I guess what you're saying is that if you see someone that's yellow but not red, you have a chance to talk to them before fighting them. Okay. I'm still learning. Here we are. What? How many hours into Baldur's Gate am I? 105 or something like that? 106? All right. Again, I didn't know that. Okay. This is choosing the right dialogue options and succeeding can be just as much a part of the game as winning in combat. And there, you might have to make choices like that soon. Yeah, I mean, for example, I've tried that. If you haven't noticed, in my playthrough, any situation that I can try to talk my way out of, I try. That's something that's always been a staple of my playthroughs ever since Fallout 3. That was actually the first game ever where I found out that, dialogue, I think it's charisma in that game, that was so important that you could talk yourself completely out of various situations. I really liked at the end of Fallout 3 where I talked the president, the robot AI president, out of any kind of like aggro at all. Like he was totally gonna kill me, and I talked him completely out of it by having such a high charisma stat. And I was like, that's neat. And ever since then, any game that has that, I try to do it because I think that that's really cool. Did the animation play? Okay, it did. I would make sure that's not screwed up. Okay. So, yeah, like, we'll see what happens. I always try that. I assume you're referencing something that I have no idea what you're talking about. I guess he's saying that maybe I must have gone right into combat at a time when I could have talked to someone, but I didn't notice that they were yellow and not red. You're probably right, but I don't know what you're talking about. So, okay. As always, thank you, 1 Minute Man, for your daily support of my content and your advice. I appreciate that. Okay. So, 5 colors. White is you, blue is your party members, green is an ally, yellow is intermediate, and red is hostile. So I was right on the color scheme. Cool. So yellow is intermediate. You can talk to them. Okay, cool. All right. So, what else would you guys like to talk about today? Tag me in the chat. We'll do a little bit of Q&A. If we wrap up a little early, that's fine. Let's see what happens. Purple is romance opportunities. Ooh. Ooh. Lady Charisma says, is seeing the dice rolls a plus or negative to you since most RPGs hide dice rolls in the background? I think for this game, it's unique and interesting. Admittedly, at the beginning of the game, it was completely off-putting. I was like, wait, this whole game is literally rolling dice? But when you think about it, a lot of games, that is the case. Like, a lot of the games, maybe not a dice roll, but, like, your stats are all a factor that the game is always calculating and judging, but you just don't see it, right? It always happens behind the scenes. In this game, there literally are tons of these dice roll situations, so... yeah. No, I think it's neat. I think it's neat. At first it was annoying, but now it's, obviously playing over 100 hours of the game, you get used to it. So, BITW Awesome asks, what if someone offers to buy your internet shows that you don't make anymore, like The Hateful Truth, Hate Live, Project 7, or Ask the King? No one would do that. Those shows are not branded, trademarked shows. You understand? Like, how many people over the years made their own DSP Trizits that were just fucking awful things about me, right? There's no brand value in those shows because there were not shows that were trademarked and marketed as individual products. You understand? That's the difference. You know, yeah, there's no brand there. No one would ever pay $1 for it. They would just rip it off. Now, the thing is, would I have the ability to go back at that and be like, hey, how dare you try to make a review show called The Hateful Truth? I did that for many, many years, and it's totally my thing. If I ever want to bring it up or bring it back, I can. It's not your right to steal that idea. Yes, I could do that. And in fact, that's a lot of the things that people say is that you can always like go to court or whatever. But for me, no one's ever going to offer me $1 about it because, again, there's nothing to it. It's just a silly question. How do I feel about the revival of X-Men 97? You know, I don't know. I mean, obviously, X-Men cartoon was one of the things that I really liked in the 90s when I was a teenager or a young adult, before I was an adult. I don't know if I care about it in 2024. I feel like a lot of these nostalgic things they bring back, people are just so into nostalgia. And for me, when they just did Ninja Turtles again, right? What was it, Mutant Mayhem? And people were like, oh, are you going to watch the new Ninja Turtles movie? No. I'm not going to watch the 17th new iteration of the Ninja Turtles. The Ninja Turtles were from when I was a kid. I don't fucking care about the Ninja Turtles anymore. I grew up. I'm 40-some years old. I don't care about... I also don't watch Transformers. I don't watch G.I. Joe. I don't play with He-Man action figures. You know, I grew out of it. It seems like a lot of people never fucking grow out of anything. They just want the thing over and over. So was I a fan of the X-Men when I was growing up? Yes, I owned the comic books. I owned the action figures. I watched the show every single Saturday morning when it came out on Fox. And then the show ended. And I was like, okay, it's time to move on. And now they're like, whoa, in 2024, we're bringing back X-Men 97. And I got to ask the question, why? If you're going to make a new X-Men show, that's something that would make sense to me. You're like, we're going to bring back the actual original X-Men 97. What are you doing? Why? I don't get it. To me, it feels like that would be something like maybe as an oddity. I would watch like the first episode, right? The first episode. Oh, okay. Just to see what they've done with it. And then I'd just be like, all right, I'm done. Great. Good for you. If it has a new audience with kids or whatever, okay. But I'm fucking in my 40s. I don't want to sit around watching X-Men cartoons, right? Like, but some people just, I swear, they never grow out of it. I loved Ninja Turtles when I was 7. That means I have to watch every piece of Ninja Turtles media ever created till the day I fucking die. No, it doesn't mean that. Really. You didn't have to watch the shitty Michael Bay Ninja Turtles movies. You didn't have to watch the 17 cartoon iterations. You could have skipped them. I did. And I still, to some extent, have nostalgic feelings about Ninja Turtles, but I don't care about them to watch Mutant Mayhem or other shit. Like, I'm just not into it, right? It's up to you. For me, I'm not interested. I'm really not. Like, I'm hearing about it, I'm like, I don't really care. Okay. The Mario movie? I hated the Mario movie. I told you. I really didn't like it at all. Seems like a lot of people loved it. I hated it. Was I ever into Power Rangers? Power Rangers came, again, kind of after my time of caring about that kind of stuff. For me, it was Ninja Turtles. And then after my interest in Ninja Turtles waned, I got into video games like Street Fighter and stuff. And I stopped really caring about pop culture stuff like that. Now, I did see Power Rangers on TV for like 1 to 2 seasons. I didn't watch it religiously, but if it was on, I would watch it. And I thought it was all right, but it was such a weird mishmash of America and Japan, and you could tell that it didn't jive. You knew that it was a weird show when half the stuff in it was like fuzzy and didn't look old, right? It was definitely bizarre. And at first, I was like completely wondering why it was popular. I was like, why do people like this? It's so weird. But then after a while, you kind of get into it almost. You're like, okay, I kind of get it. Like, I totally saw the Power Rangers movie in theaters. I thought it was atrociously bad. But I saw the Power Rangers movie in theaters just as an oddity to see what it was. And I was like, appalled how bad the movie was. So no, I was never a huge Power Rangers fan. Like I said, after the initial cast left, because remember, the initial cast was there for like a season and a half, and then they changed over to the next group. Kimberly left, and sadly, Trini, she passed away, right? So they had to get a replacement there, I think, or no. She passed away later, didn't she? I can't remember. But basically, they replaced like half the cast, right? And so I was watching some of it up to that point, but I never watched past that. I think, what was it, Mystic Powers or something like that? No, Zeo. Power Rangers Zeo. When they started Zeo, that's when I never cared and never watched past that. And I know that they have like 17 more seasons after that, but when Zeo hit, that was the end for me. Would I ever consider writing a book, fiction or nonfiction? Maybe. Or maybe, that will be the way that I tell my story later on. Maybe it won't be a freaking documentary on the internet, but it would be a book. I don't know. I don't know why anyone would want to see a book written about me or that I wrote, but who knows? You didn't know about Power Rangers Zeo? That's one of the early ones, because there was regular Power Rangers. Wasn't it just Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for like 2 seasons? And then they changed it to like, I think it was Zeo was the next one. And then after that, they did a crazy one. It was like Turbo or was it Turbo and then Zeo? I don't know the order. But that was about it. Because then after that, they went, every year was a wild new plot, right? Zero was first? Okay. If I wrote a book, it would sell like crazy. I don't think so, but there you go. Zero came out in 1996. That's probably the one I'm thinking of then. Because like I said, I was only like 2 seasons that I paid attention to. No, it's too late for suggestion box. The show's going to end in 10 minutes. Can the show end now? If people want it to end now and don't want to ask any more questions, then yes, we can end it now. Sure. What is this picture from? Punch-Out. You don't know Punch-Out? Really? People don't know Punch-Out anymore, I guess. They don't know the classics. What happened to the Jurassic Park franchise? I hear nothing of the movies or games. Where have you been for the last decade with the Jurassic World trilogy that did insane amounts of money all around the world? Jurassic World trilogy was very popular and successful, right? Oh, is it time? Is it time for gold? Gold grind. Is it time? It may be. Do I think Warner Brothers Discovery is a sinking ship? I don't actually know anything about Warner Brothers Discovery. I don't know what they are. I guess they're an offshoot of Warner Brothers, but I don't know what they do or whatever, so I can't really speak to that or attest to that. Will I ever stream another VR game? Doubtful. Like I said, number one, VR is a gimmick. It lasts a little bit, and then it wears off, right? The appeal of VR lasted about 2 months for me, and then I really didn't care about it anymore. Number two, VR is expensive. You usually need some kind of a hardware setup, a headset, That's expensive hardware to do it, just for a very small select number of games. So is it really worth the investment? Probably not. Number 3, since I covered PSVR in 2016, I've now become an interactive streamer. My job is to sit here on a stream and talk with you guys, about various topics and things going on, and hang out and play games and do all this stuff. That's my job. My job, if I put on a headset where I'm fucking around and I can't see anything, and I can't see you guys and interact with you, then I'm basically not being an interactive streamer, right? I wouldn't even be able to talk with you guys and interact and do shout-outs or do anything. Can't do that with a VR headset. And then lastly, as we know from when I used PSVR 1 in 2016, the technology at that point 8 years ago just wasn't there yet. I mean, it barely worked. There were some games where I would get stuck and I couldn't continue in the game because there wasn't enough room in this office to even do it. Like, I couldn't even play any games just sitting here. I'd, like, stand up and move around in the middle of the office to do it. And half of them didn't work. I'm like, oh, I'm walking into something trying to fucking do this, right? Excuse me. So, yeah. So there you go. I don't think VR is really going to fit into my stuff or my style or anything. Oh, really? See, I didn't know that. I'm being told the Suicide Squad game was actually under Warner Brothers Discovery. I didn't know that. Damn. Damn, they're fucked. No, I don't do call-ins for a good reason. I can easily just talk with you guys in the chat with zero risk. Calling in does 5 million levels of risk. Seriously, you don't know what people are going to say. Trolling, get you in trouble. Trying to get your fucking doxing and IP address and shit. It's just not worth it. So. Yes, I had the Ninja Turtles pizza party a few years ago when I actually did play a nostalgic version. Remember, we did the Ninja Turtles retro game a couple summers back. It had come out and it had like all the classic Ninja Turtles games in it. And so we played it all day long, a pizza party. That was fun as a one-off event. By the way, it didn't do very well. We didn't really have many people show up for it. No one really cared, but it was just something good to do for variety. I had a good time with it. I don't know what Hearts of Iron 4 DLC is. What the hell is that? I don't remember what pizza we got for that Ninja Turtles event. I have no recollection. Joel Loft says, there's rumors Hogwarts Legacy 2 will end up going live service because Warner Brothers wants to make all games take the Suicide Squad route. What a piss poor decision. If they do that, they might as well just close now. Like, there's no point. No one wants live service. This has been tried and true, tested. The evidence is there. No one wants live service games. People are panning them. People are not buying them. It doesn't matter what executives at companies want. They're not going to get their way. The customer base is not in line with this, right? So they have to learn this and fucking cut the shit. They really do. I did do a playthrough of Knights of the Old Republic many years ago, 4 years ago actually. Full playthrough here on DSPGaming. I can't remember what version it was. Yes, I remember MAG. At the time, it was the biggest shooter ever on PS3. The most players available in one match. I remember it. It was only okay. It wasn't like the gameplay wasn't great. It was just okay. The gimmick was that you're playing with so many people. But it didn't really stick, right? It didn't really have the impact I think they thought it would have. Excuse me. Anything else, guys? Are we done? People seem to be clamming up. Excuse me, that's disgusting. Did I play SOCOM on PS2 back in the day? One of the first console online shooters you ever played. No, Amplatory, I did not, but my friend did. My friend was addicted to SOCOM, and this was a guy who had been into competitive Street Fighter for the longest time. Like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, he was one of our crew. And then people found out that, or at least people found out. We found out that he basically like was like disappearing. Like, where is this guy? And then we go to his house, and he's just constantly playing SOCOM. He won't stop playing SOCOM. He was super addicted to it, like hardcore addicted to it. Since I have the mini PC, would Knights of the Old Republic 2 be on the table in the future? Maybe. Here's the thing. I really feel like... all right. Time to be... Okay. DSP becomes honest. All right. You ready for this? All these years, you guys told me, man, I'm really missing out because I don't have a gaming PC, right? Like, man, you miss so much stuff. You don't play it. You're only a console gamer, and you've limited yourself so much because of that. So I got this PC. It is a mini PC, but I got this PC end of last summer. It was donated by a fan. Thank you so much to that fan for that. And what have we done with it since then? We played Chrono Trigger. Like, that's fucking it. And oh, I take it back. We played the paranormal game around Christmas time. I forget if you can remember what it was called. Like, that's it. And I have it, and it's available, and we could do stuff. There's no demand. Literally, no one says, hey, Phil, now that you got that mini PC, you absolutely should be doing this, this, and this that you missed out on. It's like, meh, you have it, big deal. The big games are on console, play those. Literally, that's what I've been told. So it's like, all these years that everyone yelled at me, right, that I didn't ever have a PC, so I can't really play these games. Again, like, I got the PC now. It literally sits there collecting dust. The one thing we were gonna do with Fightcade, it made more sense to hold off because Tekken was right around the corner. It didn't make sense to set that up, get it working, and then play Tekken and not use it. So, I tell you that, 100%, Fightcade will be coming at some point this year when things die down with fighting games. I want to play old school fighters on Fightcade, okay? But outside of that, that's the only thing that I could think of. Like, what else would I even do on there? It's funny because people say things like Pizza Tower and stuff, right? But is there really that much demand for it? Obviously not. No one's really asking for it. It's like a few people here and there. So it's just weird to me that all these years, again, it sounds to me like the vocal minority, right? People were very adamant and vocal. You need a PC, you need a PC. So now I get a means to play PC games, and no one's really caring, you know? Okay, sure. I don't know because I'm not looking. Thank you for telling me. Thanks for telling me, because like I said, I'm not looking at all. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not going to pay attention to it. So, okay. And as you can see, when this happens, people will come in and troll. Just ban those people. When you see them saying stupid comments about it, just take them right out. Continue on. Joloff says the Warner Brothers Discovery CEO stated their brands are all going to go live service moving forward. Mortal Kombat and Suicide Squad are already proof of their strategy. Okay. I've never been to New Orleans. No, I have not. Average YouTube enjoyer says you wouldn't be able to play something on the PC now even if you wanted to. You have too many games you're involved in. But the point I'm making is I've had that mini PC since the fall. You understand? Or not even. Since late summer. And there really has been no demand. That's the point. The point is, everyone said you need the PC. I got the PC, and it just sits there. Everything that I can play or people want me to play is on console. So, and this is the point I made for so many years, is that there are some games that are limited to PC. Usually it's the indie games, the games that go viral, or the games that, you know, are the meme games for like a few weeks and then they disappear. The rare case where that wasn't the case was Pal World because that was on Game Pass. That was a rare situation, right? But outside of that, that's the kind of games that are the big PC stuff today. Everything else ends up being cross-platform. Very rarely do you get a game that's only PC-centric but also monstrously in demand and people want to see me play. Very rare. So, King, thank you for 27 months as a member and says, I like to see old versus games on Fightcade. Me too. That'd be amazing to be able to play the old versus games that I used to love. I would love that on 5K2, for sure. That's very true. Lady Charisma says the things with PC games, you have to dig and look for gems. The mainstream just doesn't do that. You're right. I agree with you there. JD Graham says maybe we should do a poll of PC games to play when news releases slow down. He would like to see 7 Days to Die, which is like Minecraft in a zombie apocalypse. Trip Tonight says, excuse me, Tip Tonight says, if a meme game is $5, what's the harm in cashing in on that hype and playing it for a stream or two? If literally the meme game's $5, you're right. There's none. I have no problem dropping $5 on a silly game and messing around with it for a stream. I do have a problem dropping $30 to $60 on a game I'm only going to play once. That's too much of an investment, I feel. But if it's just like a one-off, yeah, that's different. The thing is, I feel like a lot of these games that go viral, look what they are. Online, multiplayer, co-op, survival. It's not stuff that's my forte or stuff that I'd even be interested in. I'm a solo gamer for the most part, right? I am. All these games, Phasmophobia. What's the latest one that just came out? It's a shooter, right? Again, but it's online co-op. It's not my style of game. It seems like all these memeable games are games that you get together with your party or your friends or your group, and it's like a party game, right? That's how it's designed. So that's just not the kind of game that I play, or it's not my forte. It's not what I'm known for. The times I've tried games like that, they didn't work. Years ago, I tried games like Destiny 2, games like Apex Legends. They don't work. People want to hang out with me when I'm playing a game. If my focus is on a party of people who I have to interact with to play the game, I don't get to interact with you, and people don't like that. People get very upset by that. So, there you go. Walk Warrior says the problem is most memeable PC games are only viable for like one stream. It wouldn't amount to any meaningful playthroughs for on-demand viewers who enjoy long-form content. That's also true. It'd be like, if you want to see the random thing, join in the one time, and then that's it, you know. Okay, hooey. Well, we've covered a lot. That's what it's called. Lethal Company. Yeah, that's the latest one, isn't it? Didn't it just come out a few weeks ago? Lethal Company. So that's the next memeable game everyone's talking about, right? This is funny. Peace God says, PC would give you true variety. We have variety. And I have a PC. I have a mini PC. Were you not listening? I have it. Oh my God. Hello, Door. Door, the point I'm making is that I've had a PC, a mini PC, since the summer, and I don't use it. No one asked for anything on it, Door. Do you understand what I'm saying, Door? Well, the Door didn't say no, and the Door didn't just say that if I had a PC, I'd have more variety. So I guess the Door actually did listen better. I don't know what else to say. Okay. Hadley, I have absolutely no idea. I choose to get games on the console versus the PC version. What are you talking about? First of all, you have to understand that's a mini PC. That's not a full-fledged gaming rig. I can't play modern games on it. The whole point is the memeable games, the lower res games, the indie games, yes. Modern games, no, will not work on that PC. So any of these new games I'm playing that have PC ports, I couldn't play them on there. They would not run. You know, Baldur's Gate 3. You think Baldur's Gate 3 would have run on the mini PC? Oh, I don't think so. Maybe if everyone looked like a Play-Doh sculpture, right? Or the Pillsbury Doughboy. Imagine that. It's Baldur's Gate 3, but everyone's just an unrendered Doughboy walking around. That would have been my experience playing the game on that mini PC, right? So, that's the thing. I have to. If it's a modern game, a high-end game, a full AAA experience, I have to play that on a console. It's the smaller time stuff that I could play on the mini PC. It looks like my chat has crashed. It did, because it's not updating on here, but it is updating over there. Hold on. Yep, it froze. With your love of SNES style RPGs, the mini PC is perfect. I agree. That I'll agree with you on. That the older style games, yes, I could absolutely play them all on PC. That I agree on as well. Walk Warrior says, I think once you get past all these RPGs that the devs release all at the same time, people will stop complaining. I do agree with that too. Once we get more variety into the schedule, people will not be as, you know, oh, this is boring and blah, blah, blah. I think people are only complaining because it is seriously so many of the same style of game, for sure. Dark Gaming, no, the stream didn't crash. The chat actually froze. Legit froze. And I just refreshed it, and now it's working again. Sarah says, the problem is if you become virally popular, you'll have to lose your current niche audience. The fans of your content are not also fans of the mainstream viral creators. I don't know about that. But here's the thing. If I were to grow to the point where now I'm like, you know, bringing in so many viewers and the chat is going and there's so many people there, right? I definitely would not have the personal ability to talk with many of you like I do on a daily basis. I enjoy our conversations. I enjoy the fact that I recognize many of you in chat and we have kind of running jokes and things. You know what I mean? That's a nice feeling. It feels like it's a group of a community of friends or people hanging out as opposed to, oh, this is a crazy ass party room with a zillion people in it bouncing off the walls, going nuts, going freaking out, spamming memes, being stupid. It doesn't feel like that in my chats, correct? That's a good thing. I like having a better organized stream. I've always enjoyed that. And I hope that you understand that. Like, that's why I have not actively done things to try to make myself get virally popular. Listen, I could. And the sad part is it wouldn't be good stuff. I would have to basically become like a lot of these other people who the only way that they can get attention on the internet is to make themselves a joke, to be dramatic, to be stupid, right? So I don't do that on purpose. I just stay in my lane. I just enjoy what I do as a you know, a basic thing. I don't rattle any trees. I just try to be here and enjoy who I am and what I'm doing with all of you. You know what I'm saying? So I hope you understand that. There's a reason for that. There were many times over the years that I did have abilities to grow or try to jump on those bandwagons, and I don't want to do that, right? And the other thing is, again, I feel like a lot of these games that go viral, right? They're not my style of game. It's for a different style of streamer. It's for a different style of content creator that I'm not. You know, I'm just not that. And that's okay. I think the problem right now with YouTube and Twitch and all that, everyone thinks that there's one way to do it. You should just do that and then you're popular. And if you don't do it, you're doing it wrong. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. In life, it is variety. That is the spice of life, as they say. If everyone just did everything exactly the same in life, life would be boring. You want people to be doing things in different ways for different kinds of audiences. I feel like the content I make is great for my audience. I don't have to play every viral game because it's not the style of content that I put out. People don't look to me for that. You know what I'm saying? I definitely feel like people don't get that. Like, well, if you're not doing it exactly the way that everyone else does it, and you're not getting virally popular as a result of that, you're doing it wrong, right? 10 years of failure, despite the fact that I'm still here, still profitable, have a great personal life, have a great professional life, 10 years of failure. Why am I a failure? Because I didn't copy everything else everyone else was doing so I could become virally popular like them. That's not failure. That was a choice. That was a choice to be a different kind of person and creator that I'm okay with. If you're not okay with it, maybe you should look in the mirror and wonder why you want everyone to be exactly the fucking same, because obviously you don't have that level of, like, thought. You just think everything's samey, everything good, right? Not every actor who stood out there was intending to be a Leonardo DiCaprio or a Brad Pitt. Not every musician is aspiring to be a Taylor Swift, right? I don't make decisions that would make me like that. I haven't done a single thing that would blow me up because I don't care. I don't want to be like that. right? Right? Okay, then. Thank you. Glenn Alm says you can't be a failure if you've sustained this amount of longevity doing it your way. Thank you. But it takes maturity and intelligent thought to understand that. Not a lot of people have that capability in the modern day. People are just becoming stupider. And more stupid people watch the content from the stupider people, and it just propagates more stupidity. And there's nothing you can do about that. The world will become dumber and dumber. I have no idea. I'm being asked, what would I want to play this year during summer downtime? You know, I don't know. This year's different because last few years have been like, the first few months of the year I'm playing a Bethesda game, usually until like early summer. We finished the Bethesda game, and then we got the early summer new games, and then we balanced that with like a summertime vibe game. I don't know. Like, one game we have to go back to is Sea of Stars. I absolutely want to go back to and finish that game this year. But outside of that, I'm not sure. Are we skipping games that you guys want to see me go back to later? Like, I'm going to be skipping Dragon's Dogma. Do you want to see me play that later on in the year? I don't know. We have to think about it. Oh, man. All right. I think it is time to adjourn. Let me stretch here. Oh, man. Whew. I think it is time to adjourn the show for today, right? That is true. My Ruin says we don't know how long Sea of Stars will be on Game Pass. That's a good point. I don't know. They might take it off, and I'm like, damn, I'm halfway through a playthrough. I can't finish unless I buy it. I do feel the game's good enough that it's worth buying. I do feel that way, so even if they take it off Game Pass, I'll probably end up buying it. Okay, everyone. Thank you very much. Great podcast today, as usual. I hope you all have a safe and fun day tomorrow. I won't be here. Please, have a good one. And when I return on Friday, I'll be talking about my day off. If there's stuff from this Xbox showcase you want me to talk about, maybe I'll talk about that. And we're starting fresh. Next week, a normal week. A normal 6-day streaming week. Not a long one, not a short one. Finally, for the first time in 3 weeks, a normal week. Which will be well-paced, good content, everything getting its time to shine, right? It'll be a good one. So thank you all. I hope that you enjoyed today's show. And I will see you on Friday. Peace out.